Let's take a look at bulletins in YAAC.
Stick around and we'll get right to it.
Hey, welcome back guys. Jason, KM4ACK. I got a recent comment left on one of my videos that John, ZL1ACH, left. He said, excellent, I set things up to similar to your suggestions. Just one question though. How do I use the bulletin board? Well, John, today we're going to walk you through exactly how to use that bulletin board. Okay, so let's get YAAC set up so that you guys can see this. Pay attention that I am transmitting on 144.300. I'm staying off of the primary APRS frequency because I don't want any of these bulletins that we create for the video to get sent into the actual APRS system or pick up on anybody else's APRS radio. So let's go ahead and move YAAC to this side of the screen. I'm going to come up to View, Messages, and I want to see my outgoing messages. So I'm just going to move this down to the bottom left side of this screen. Then I'm going to come right back up here and go to View, Messages, and Bulletin Board. And we'll let this occupy this last quarter of the screen right up here. Now we can see everything that's going on the map, the outgoing messages, and the bulletin board up here in the top left. The first thing we need to do is go ahead and add a new bulletin group. Now, I don't give this a name because I want these just to go out as standard BLN0, BLN1, 2, 3, you get the idea. There are other use cases where you can use actual bulletin group names, but for this demo, we don't want to do that. So I'm going to just click add a new group. Now, the first thing you want to take a look at is the transmit parameters. In this case, I do not want this going out except for wide 1.1. And honestly, I could probably remove it and just let it go direct, but we'll leave it at wide 1.1. Now, the other change that I'm going to make, you typically want to leave this set at 600 because you don't want to be sending these bulletins out super frequent and clogging up the APRS network. But with setting this to 600, it also delays when the bulletins get sent on their initial transmission. Now, after that, it goes back to working exactly like it should. But I'm just going to change this in this particular case to 30 seconds. Don't ever use anything any lower than 30 seconds. In fact, I think YAAC will complain if I try to use something faster than every 30 seconds. But the main reason I want to do this is just so we don't get any delays during the filming. Once you've got your parameter set on this page, and like I said, leave it at 600, wide 1.1 or 1.121 right here. Go ahead and go back to the bulletin editor, and now we can start typing in something for this bulletin. This first line is going to be bulletin 0. The line below that will be 1, so forth and so on. All right, so I have actually typed in two different bulletins right here. Bulletin 0 you can see right here, and that is Highway 231 Murfreesboro covered in ice, and it's a travel hazard. Below that, I am doing a report for the local utility company that just says MTE reports 1.5 thousand without power. Now, these aren't transmitted when you type them in. In order to get these transmitted, you've got to click this Update Bulletin text. And as soon as I do that, you're going to see that those bulletins pop up down here in my outgoing transmit messages. So let's go ahead and click on that, and we'll get to see what these looks like on the radio as well. So I'll go ahead and click that. The sent is 0 right here, and the last time sent is also 0 right here. And you can see our bulletin IDs over here as well. So this is not the same as your bulletin number that's right here, but a separate ID number for outgoing messages. So we'll give this just a couple of seconds so that YAAC can process everything, and we should see, well, there's one of them, it just went out right there. So bulletin 1 went out first, and now bulletin 0 went out as well. If we take a look at that on the radios, you can see bulletin 0 still on the screen. So I've got the FT5 set to lock those messages on the screen when they're received, but it will only show you the last one that was received. So it's only showing us bulletin 0. However, with the FT5, let's go into the messages. Whoop, I hit the wrong button. Let's go into messages, and there is the one of the bulletins where it says MTE reports 1.5 thousand without power. and the other one right there that gives us the ice-covered road and a travel hazard. So let's go ahead and get out of those, and let me show you what to do if you want to update those bulletins. Now, you can see that those have already sent out twice because I've got that transmission rate set so quick. That is not something you typically want to do. Typically, you want to keep that, I would say, around 300 seconds, I believe is where I was running it during that last ice storm that came through Tennessee. But let's go ahead and let's say that we get an update and now we only have 1,000 without power instead of 1.5. So I'm just going to take that 0.5 out, and once I've got all of my edits made up here, we can go ahead and click the Update Bulletin text. As soon as I click this, you will see all of this information down here change because it has been updated. So that clears the last time sent. That clears the sent number. Well, it did, but it popped back up right there. And it gives these bulletins a new ID number. So you'll be able to see those show back up on the radios as well when they have new information. Now, there's all kinds of reasons that you might want to use the bulletin board setup in YAAC. Just as one example, I used it during a recent snow and ice storm that we experienced here in Middle Tennessee. I was able to use bulletins to get information out, such as maybe what roads were blocked, who or how many people were without power. We actually had one of our NOAA weather radios go offline during that event, so I put that information out as bulletins as well. And anybody that was paying attention to their APRS radio would have all of that data show up right there on the screen, and that makes it super handy to use. If you found today's information helpful, be sure to leave us a thumbs up before you head off. We will see you guys on the next one. Until then, 7-3.